In October 2017, something entered our solar system. It wasn't a comet. It wasn't an asteroid. And it didn't behave like anything we've ever seen before. Astronomers tracked it for a few weeks, and then it was gone. But before it disappeared, it did something that still doesn't make sense. Tonight, we're going to analyze this object and uncover why some scientists believe it might not be natural at all. October 19th, 2017. Astronomers using the ʻOumuamua Observatory spotted something unusual. At first, it looked like a fast-moving asteroid, but within hours they realized something was wrong. It was moving too fast, much faster than objects bound to our solar system. Every asteroid, every comet, follows predictable paths. They orbit the sun. They belong here. This object didn't. Its trajectory was hyperbolic, meaning it came from outside our solar system. This was the first confirmed interstellar object ever detected. It had traveled for millions, maybe billions of years through the darkness between stars, until it crossed our path. Scientists gave it a name, Oumuamua, a Hawaiian word meaning scout or messenger from afar, and that name would become more unsettling over time. As astronomers observed it, they noticed something shocking. It wasn't round, not even close. It appeared to be long, thin, extremely elongated, like a cigar, or something else. Scientists measured how its brightness changed, and what they found was extreme. The object's brightness varied dramatically, suggesting it was rotating, but not normally. It was tumbling chaotically. At this point, scientists expected gas emissions like a comet, a visible tail, signs of ice vaporizing. But they saw nothing. No tail, no gas, no dust. Just a dark, silent object. But the strangest part hadn't happened yet, because as it left our solar system, something began to push it. Something we still can't fully explain.
When Oumuamua entered our solar system, scientists expected it to behave like any other object. It didn't, and as it began to leave, something impossible happened. As astronomers continued tracking Oumuamua, they noticed something subtle at first. It was speeding up, not dramatically, not instantly, but enough to raise a question. Why? In space, objects move based on gravity. The sun pulls them in, then slings them back out. But once an object is leaving, it should slow down, not accelerate. Scientists ran the numbers again and again. The trajectory didn't make sense. Gravity alone couldn't explain what they were seeing. The first explanation was simple. It must be a comet. Comets release gas when heated by the sun. That gas creates thrust, like a natural rocket. There was just one issue. No gas was detected. No tail, no vapor, no debris. Telescopes saw nothing. This created a problem. Something was pushing the object, but nothing was visible. No exhaust, no particles, just acceleration. Scientists proposed something unusual, Hydrogen outgassing. Hydrogen is hard to detect. It could, in theory, create thrust without being easily visible. But that doesn't fit either. Hydrogen ice shouldn't survive a journey through interstellar space. It would evaporate long before reaching our solar system, which means that explanation might not work. Then came another theory, one that changed everything. What if the sun's light was pushing it? Light isn't just illumination. It carries momentum. Tiny, but real. Solar radiation can push objects, but normally, not enough. Unless the object is extremely thin, extremely light, and large in surface area, like a sail. This is where things get controversial, because one scientist suggested, what if Oumuamua wasn't a rock, but a solar sail? Avi Loeb, a Harvard astrophysicist, proposed something shocking. He suggested Oumuamua could be artificial, a piece of technology, possibly created by an alien civilization. If true, this wouldn't just be a strange object, it would be evidence of extraterrestrial technology. Not everyone agreed. Many scientists rejected the idea, saying there's no direct proof. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and they're right. But the question remains, even if it's not artificial, we still don't know what it is. Think about that. The first interstellar object ever detected, and we can't explain its behavior. It accelerated without visible propulsion, without a tail, without a clear explanation. And if that wasn't strange enough, what scientists discovered next made some of them question everything. Because the way Oumuamua moved may not have been random at all. By now, Oumuamua had already broken the rules. It came from outside our solar system. It had an impossible shape, and it accelerated without a clear cause. But for some scientists, that still wasn't the strangest part. What if we're asking the wrong question? Instead of, what natural object behaves like this, maybe we should ask, what kind of object would behave this way on purpose? That's when Avi Loeb made a controversial proposal. Not a conclusion, a possibility. He suggested Oumuamua might be artificial, not necessarily a ship, not something flying with intent, but possibly a piece of technology, a fragment, or even debris from a civilization far beyond our own. If you wanted to travel between stars, you wouldn't use rockets. You'd use something far more efficient, a solar sail. A solar sail is ultra-thin, lightweight, driven by radiation pressure from stars. No fuel, no engine, just light. Now, compare that to what we observed. Unusual acceleration, verified. No visible propulsion, verified. Thin, flat structure, possible. Suddenly, the impossible starts to make sense. But here's the problem. If Oumuamua is artificial, then it raises a much bigger question. Who made it? Think about what that would mean. A civilization advanced enough to build interstellar technology, send objects across galaxies, survive distances we can barely imagine, and we never saw them. No ships, no signals, no contact, just one object, passing silently through our system. Remember the name, Oumuamua, messenger from afar. What if that's more accurate than we realized? What if this object wasn't random? What if it was observing, recording, passing through on purpose? Most scientists reject this idea, and that's important. Science demands evidence, and right now, there is no direct proof of artificial origin. But science also asks questions. The role of science isn't to dismiss ideas, it's to test them. And right now, we don't have enough data to rule it out completely. This isn't like UFO sightings on Earth. This isn't blurry footage. This is measured, recorded, and analyzed by scientists. The biggest problem: we don't have the object anymore. Oumuamua is gone, moving away from our solar system, into deep space. Think about that. The first interstellar visitor ever detected, and we only observed it for a few weeks. No mission, no probe, no close-up images. Scientists now believe objects like this may pass through our solar system more often than we thought, meaning this might not be unique, and next time we might be ready. But here's the unsettling part. What if Oumuamua wasn't just passing through? What if it was already aware of us? And what scientists discovered next might change how we look at space forever.
The idea that Oumuamua could be artificial captured global attention. But in science, attention is not enough. Evidence is everything. After the initial excitement, researchers around the world began analyzing the data again, not to prove it was alien, but to find a natural explanation. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and right now, we don't have direct proof that Oumuamua is artificial. No images of structures, no signals, no technology detected. One leading idea suggests Oumuamua could be made of exotic ice, not water ice, but something far more unusual. Some scientists proposed it could be composed of solid hydrogen. This would explain no visible tail, invisible outgassing, and unexpected acceleration. But this theory has a major issue. Hydrogen ice is extremely fragile. It shouldn't survive interstellar radiation, collisions with particles, millions of years of travel. Another hypothesis suggests it could be a fragment of a Pluto-like planet, made mostly of nitrogen ice. This theory explains some things, but not all. The shape, the motion, the acceleration still don't fully match. Let's separate facts from theories. We know it came from outside our solar system. It had a highly unusual shape. It accelerated without visible propulsion. It showed no typical comet behavior. And most importantly, we only observed it briefly. This is the real issue. We're trying to explain something with incomplete information. Throughout history, the most important discoveries often started as anomalies, things that didn't fit, things that didn't make sense. Oumuamua isn't just another anomaly. It's the first confirmed object from another star system. That alone makes it historic. The scientific community is divided. Some say it's a natural object we don't yet understand. Others say we shouldn't ignore the possibility of artificial origin. And here's the truth. Both perspectives are important. Skepticism protects science, but curiosity drives it forward. The biggest limitation: we didn't expect it. We weren't prepared. Now, scientists are planning missions to intercept future interstellar objects. If another one appears, we might be able to study it up close. But even with better tools, there's something deeper we have to ask. Are we ready for what we might find? Because Oumuamua may not be the answer. It may be the beginning of a much bigger mystery. And if objects like this are more common than we thought, then the next one might not just pass through. It might reveal something we're not prepared to understand.
Oumuamua is gone, drifting farther away from our solar system, carrying its secrets with it. But what it left behind might be even more important. Part 57. We're no longer isolated. For most of human history, we thought our solar system was isolated, a closed system. Everything inside it belonged here. But Oumuamua proved something else. We are not alone in space. Not in the way you might think, but in the sense that objects from other star systems are already passing through ours. Part 58. A cosmic highway. Imagine space not as empty, but as a vast ocean. And through that ocean, things are constantly moving, drifting, passing, crossing paths. Oumuamua wasn't an exception. It was evidence of a cosmic highway. Part 59. How many have we missed? Before our telescopes improved, before we were watching closely, how many visitors came and went completely unnoticed? Part 60. What if some didn't just pass through? Here's where things get uncomfortable. What if not all objects are just passing through? What if some slow down, observe, remain hidden? Part 61. The limits of our detection. Even today, we can only detect a fraction of what's out there. Small, dark objects moving in the right direction could pass by Earth undetected. Part 62. The silence of space. We often ask, where is everyone? If intelligent life exists, why haven't we seen it? Part 63. A different answer. But maybe that's the wrong question. Maybe the better question is, what if we have seen it but didn't recognize it? Part 64. Back to Oumuamua. A strange object, unnatural motion, no clear explanation. Observed briefly, then gone. If something like that appeared again, would we know what we're looking at? Part 65. Technology versus understanding. Our technology is improving. Faster telescopes, better detection systems. But technology alone isn't enough, because to recognize something, you first have to understand it. Part 66. The next visitor. Scientists believe another interstellar object could enter our solar system at any time, next year, next month, maybe even right now. Part 67. And next time, we might not just observe it, we might intercept it, study it, or even get closer than we ever have before. Final twist. And if that happens, we may finally answer the question, was Oumuamua just a rock or something far more advanced? Final monologue. Somewhere out there, beyond the stars we can see, beyond the signals we can detect, there may be civilizations moving through the galaxy in ways we don't yet understand. And one of their objects may have already visited us. Last line, powerful. The question isn't whether something passed through our solar system. The question is, why? This is just the beginning. Subscribe to Obscura Cosmos, because the next discovery might not be a mystery, it might be proof.